Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Cocktails with Christabel. I'm really excited today because I have a special guest. She is a motivational speaker. She's a presenter. Let's just call her an entrepreneur. Give it up for your girl, Nissy Tee. You're looking beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You're finally here.
Thank you. I know. We've been like saying that we were going to do this for a long time. And I know. Our schedules were like clashing, but we finally made it happen. I'm happy.
Finally. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
That's good.
I'm so excited to be here on Cocktails with Christabel.
I know, finally here on the set.
I'm like on the set.
Yes.
I'm here in real life.
Yes.
I'm really excited. I'm good.
So, are you excited? We're going to be making cocktails.
Yes. Can I make my disclaimer?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, make your disclaimer.
Can I make a little disclaimer? Okay, guys. At the beginning of this year, well, those are my close friends. They'll know that I was a drinker before. Used to drink. Then I stopped drinking for about 4 or 5 years. Actually, I didn't tell you that part. I stopped drinking for about 4 or 5 years after uni because I had a moment that wasn't cute, and I said, no, this is not my life. So I stopped drinking for about 4 or 5 years. Then the day that we got married, so my husband and I, the day that we got married, I was like, do you know what? I think I want a little drink, you know, celebrate, you know, I'm gonna enjoy life. So I decided to have a drink, started drinking, and then at the beginning of this year, I was just like, I don't want to drink again. So today, I'm only drinking for you guys. So
see?
You know, I'm only drinking for you guys because I should have told you earlier that I should have...
it's fine.
I should have asked for like orange juice or something, but I didn't think about it. And I didn't think Cocktails with Christabel. I don't know what's going on.
At least you're going to drink
I'll have a little
today.
sip.
That's
a little
good.
sip.
So let's continue.
Yes.
So we're going to be using flavoured gin.
Okay, cool.
Yes. We've got our strawberry syrup here.
Okay.
We've got our crushed ice in our shaker. We're going to use drops of lime juice, our tonic water. Okay. And we've got our jugs.
Wicked.
And we're going to be making strawberry horizon, Nissy.
Strawberry horizon.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so
I don't think I've ever had that before.
Because it's mine.
Oh, is it? As in you made it up?
Yeah, I made it up.
Oh, that's sick. Okay,
cool. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so cool. Let's get our shakers.
You know what? I've always wanted to actually do this though.
Okay, so let's open it up.
Okay.
And then we've got an empty shot cup.
Okay.
Can you see your one there?
Yes.
Yes. And then we're gonna put, because you're not a drinker.
No.
We're just gonna put one.
Okay, cool.
One shot.
Right. So if I was a drinker, what would you recommend?
2 shots.
2 shots.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just to get us a bit licky.
Okay.
Yes.
So but it says rose lemonade as well. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Flavoured gin.
Okay. Let me put like a tiny bit. Right. Is that enough?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just one in there.
There we go.
Okay, cool. And then we're gonna add our tonic water.
Okay.
You can add however much you want in there.
Yeah.
And then you just dash it in.
Oh my gosh, we're actually really making cocktails.
But don't fill it right up to the top because it's fizzy and we're gonna shake it.
Okay.
All right, so Nissy, I want to dive right into it and talk,
Okay, cool, let's go.
So we are gonna discuss your childhood.
Oh, yes. Okay, all right, okay.
So we're gonna stir while we talk.
Okay. Is this a stirrer?
Yes. Just stir it like that. Okay, so Nissy, how was school for you, first of all?
School. Oh my gosh, we're really going into our childhood.
Yes.
Do you know what? School was actually okay. I was a really academic kid, I would say. I was very, very academic. Like I was a goody two shoes, I would say. Always very, I want to impress my parents. I want to make sure that my parents, you know, are happy with me, blah. But when it came to academia, my dad was really, really strict. Shout out to my dad because, we've gone through a lot. But my dad was like typical African dad, like he must study. Studying is important. Like he always applied a lot of pressure on us to study. So and because he was very strict, I wasn't that kid that was like allowed to go and, you know, play out all the time. And I was very much like, you need to be home at a certain time.
So there was rules.
There were, my parents were very, very strict, and my mum was just kind of like, yep, this is the way it's going to be because your dad said it, that's it. There's no arguing, there's no question. So it just forced me to spend a lot of time reading into books and that sort of thing. So I was a massive bookworm when I was a kid, always reading. But then that pushed me academically. So academically, I was doing really, really well. I was always kind of like top end of the classes. But yeah, basically, I was really, really academic. It kind of forced me. I think my dad being so strict forced me into, okay, well, you can't go out and like just go out onto the streets or whatever. So you have to spend a lot of time in academia. So it was a lot of books, a lot of reading, a lot of just really diving into academia. And then, so my school journey was actually pretty good. I was always like kind of like in top set, doing really well in school. I really enjoyed learning. That's why I went all the way up until uni. But I actually really enjoyed learning. I have this weird thing.
I saw somewhere that you used to call yourself a social butterfly. Why was that?
I say she's so good. She does her research.
Why did you call yourself a social butterfly?
Do you know what? Because in school, especially in secondary school, you know how when you go to secondary school, people find their cliques. They find like, okay, you guys are like the nerds, and then you guys are, which by the way, it's not a bad thing. I'm a self-declared nerd. I think nerds are wicked. The nerds or the cool girls or whatever. I went to a girls' school. I went to Sarah Brunel in East London. Went to a girls' school. I just wasn't somebody that fit. I just didn't fit into a clique. Like I didn't fit into the cool girls. I didn't fit into, so I used to move around. Like sometimes I'll be with like the, Eastern European girls. Sometimes I'll be with the Asian girls. Sometimes I'll be with like, on some lunchtimes, I remember I would even sit with one of my teachers. I had one teacher, I think she was from Ivory Coast or Sierra Leone, one of them, Miss Val Davies. And she was like a mum to me in school, but we used to get on really well, and like she'll just talk to me. Some lunchtimes I'll just sit and talk to her. And then when because I was chubby as a kid, and then when it got to like year 9, I lost a bit of weight.
We're going to discuss that.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to discuss that. But that's where everything shifted for me. Then all of a sudden I kind of came out of my shell a bit more. Even though I was always bubbly, I was still a little bit more reserved, and came out of my shell a bit more, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm kind of cute, hey. So I started hanging around with someone like the more, I guess, like cool girls, popular girls. But again, I was a floater. I was a social butterfly. I always got on with everyone, really.
Right, cool. So we're going to move on to the next step.
Okay, cool.
If you've watched my show, I've got a term called shwake.
Yes.
So for those that don't know, shake plus twerk equals shwake. All right. So Nissy, are you ready to shwake?
I've been waiting for this part. I can't lie to you.
Okay, cool. So let's not shwake too hard because it's tonic water and it's fizzy.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right. So in 3, 2, shwake, 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 shwake. See.
Trust me to be the only person that comes into this show and I can't even shwake properly.
No, listen.
I've been waiting for my moment.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh,
we shwaked. We
shwaked.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna pour all of it into here, right? Okay. All right, so Nissy.
Yes.
You did mention about your weight journey.
Yeah.
And I really want to dive into it because it's a sensitive topic, and you can tell me to stop at any time.
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
I'm open. I'm free.
All right, cool. So let's pour it in here.
Okay, cool.
So from the ages of 8 and 9, that's when you started like really gaining weight.
Yeah.
And from 11 and 12, you was at your biggest. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I was,
So how was it at a young age? Like, did you notice that you was gaining weight? Like, what was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah. It's such a weird one, right? Because like I said to you before, I was always a bubbly kid. Like I always had a big personality, always loved talking to people. I didn't really have an issue meeting and connecting with people. But inside, I knew that my weight, and it's so crazy because I even remember there was a time where one of my older cousins was getting married. This is a really significant moment for me when I realized that, my weight is actually a problem for me. She was getting married. And I think we were about maybe 12 or 13. And I remember we were obviously trying on our dresses and we were doing choreography, we were doing dance routine. You know, Africans, every wedding you have to have at least like a small dance routine. So it was me and my other younger cousins. We were putting together a dance routine. I remember there was one day when we went to my cousin's house to go and practice the routine. I remember one day we were all trying on like the dresses and stuff, and then we were like practicing the routine, and I just burst out crying. Like, I legit burst out crying, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, like, what's the matter, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I'm just so fat. Like, you guys all are so slim, and you guys all look so small. and I'm just here, like, you know. And even when you look at like the pictures and stuff like that, I could see that there was a difference, a visible difference. Everyone else is really small and petite and like what I would have considered then really cute looking, but then I was just the big one, like the fat one, had the big cheeks, the whatever. And I think that was the first time that I really got upset, and I was like, I don't like this feeling that I have, and I think that was I think the moment when I realized, like, this makes me feel uncomfortable, and I didn't like it. So
All right, cool. So before we carry on, let's just give this a little stir.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna add our strawberry syrup.
Okay, cool.
And this is gonna give us the little strawberry horizon effect.
Okay.
So
how did you even make this drink? Like, you just literally was just like, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I just like experimenting. Yeah. So
that's wicked. Oh, I like that.
And we don't stir it.
Okay, cool.
And that's it. Literally, that's strawberry horizon.
Oh, wicked. What about the lemon lime thing? We're not put any of that. It's only because I like mint, like lime.
I totally forgot about that.
It's cool. It's alright. It's okay.
Nissy schooled me. She schooled
I'm sorry, and I don't even drink alcohol like that. But
do you know what? I should have added it before the syrup. But
oh damn. Okay.
Okay. Listen.
Can we just add it anyway?
Yeah, we're gonna add it.
It's still gonna be nice, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how it looks actually.
Yeah, it's giving the little cloudy.
Giving a little cloudy effect.
Can you see, guys?
There. Right. Let me not try and be, because I'm a bit heavy-handed.
No, you've not gone. Yeah.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Do you know what? If you didn't remind me, game over.
I've not had it. It's all right. It's cool. That's what I'm here for.
And
I like this.
Literally, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, wicked.
We've got our straw there. And we're going to give it a little taste.
Okay,
well,
cool.
you're going to sip it.
I'm going to do a little sip.
Yeah.
Who knows? I might just get excited and then just finish the whole thing, you know? If I do, my husband will be carrying me home.
So let's give it a little cheers.
Cheers. Yes. I know, you always tell your guests.
I know. Look into my eyes, please.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
This is so good. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to finish this.
It's amazing. Strawberry horizon, guys.
I can't lie. Husband, I might be drinking again.
All right, so let's carry on.
This is so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like the strawberry horizon. Very nice. Yeah.
Okay, so at the age of 13, correct me if I'm wrong, you was forced to start going to the gym.
No.
Oh.
Did I ever say that?
Oh, yeah, I saw it in a YouTube video.
In a YouTube video?
Yeah, your mum forced you to go to the gym and you became very addicted to the gym, and you started gymming like 2 to 3 times a week.
Do you know what's so crazy? Maybe this is like something I've locked into a part of my brain. You know, sometimes when you forget things, I don't know if I would say that I was forced. I don't know if maybe that's how I felt at the time. Like I felt like I was kind of like being pressured.
Mind you, this was in 2016 when you was talking about it.
Yeah, maybe at the time. I wouldn't genuinely say now that I feel like I was forced to go, but I think that how can I say this politely? Because, you know, Africans have an interesting way of expressing certain things that they feel will help somebody. Yes, very blunt. So even, for example, my weight, it wasn't like I was the only person that noticed. So there'll be some aunties here and there that will make comments and say things like, "Oh, you put on weight," like, "Oh, you know, you need to lose a little bit. You need to maybe do some exercise." And do you know what's so crazy at the same time is that I understand that they come from a different culture. A lot of the time, there's no filter in African cultures.
Definitely
You're
not.
African as well, so you know.
Definitely.
There's no filter. So I think that, bless them, is out of a place of love. Like, it's because they love you and they want you to be healthy, they want you to be good, but sometimes the way they say it, they don't realize how painful and detrimental it can actually be. So I think that I just got to a point, because I remember when I first started to go to the gym, my mum was just very much kind of like, we need to exercise, like we need to be healthy, we need to work out, we need to do that sort of thing. And so we started going to the gym, I think a little bit later. I think when I was maybe about 14 or it might have been just before that. But yeah, I have a very addictive personality. I'm that person that I don't do things in the middle. I'm either full in or I'm fully out. You know? So when I started going to the gym, I started kind of enjoying it. I was like, oh, this is really nice. It made me feel good. I started to feel strong. I felt like my body was changing a little bit. I started to actually feel quite good. So I really did go ham. But I was the type of person that, like, I'll go for a bit, do like 3 months on, and then I'll fall off, and then maybe come back for another a bump, then I'll fall off. And then it's been like that pretty much my whole life. I've been like on, off. But when I am on, I'm like on it. I'm going like 5 times a week. I must go. I have to go. And then when I'm off, it's just like, yeah. Literally.
Okay, cool. So I want us to I want you to discuss. There was a point in your life that you literally stopped eating for a period of 2 weeks, and you was constantly vomiting. Can you talk us through that? Why was that? Do
you know what is so crazy? I'm so happy that we're having this conversation today, because even recently, my husband will attest to this. So guys, my husband's like behind the camera right now. But he will attest to this. Like just yesterday, I was talking to him about just how I feel right now with my weight. It's been such a big issue for me. I feel like my whole life, it's been exhausting. Like my weight has been such an issue. And just yesterday, I was saying to him, I was looking at pictures of me from an event I did the other day, and I was like, oh, it just made me feel horrible. I don't like the way that I look. Yada yada. He gets the brunt of everything. So it's really interesting that we're actually talking about. I feel like this is like therapy. I feel like I'm going through a bit of therapy right now. But yeah, no. So when I was 14, honestly speaking, I know this is going to sound so weird, but it wasn't like I woke up one day and just said, I'm going to stop eating. It was almost as though, and how I described it in some of my YouTube videos, was like an unconscious bulimia. That's how I described it, right? Where I think I had hated myself for so long, and I'd been so upset with how I looked and how uncomfortable, because I got to a point where I was so big. I was like a size 16, 18, and I was like, what, 13? Massive. And I was wearing like really bad, I went through a phase as well where I was like really tomboyish, so everything was jogging bottoms and baggy clothes because I was not comfortable in my own skin. And I think that took a toll on my mind and my mental health. Obviously back then you won't really think mental health, no one was talking about that, but my mental well-being, to the point where literally one day, Christabel, I woke up and I just couldn't eat. It was like, the smell of food made me feel sick. I would take a bite of like, let's say toast with like butter, like, you know, toast and butter, and I'll take a bite and then I'll look at it and it's like, I'm seeing all the oil in the food.
So it was all in your mind.
Honestly, I don't even know. It doesn't, till this day, it still doesn't really fully make sense to me. But it was like literally bulimia just came out of nowhere. I'd been so upset with how I looked that I just didn't want to eat. But it wasn't a decision that I made. It wasn't like today, do you know what, I'm gonna not eat. It was just one day I woke up and genuinely the smell of food made me feel sick. The taste of food. And then what started happening was every morning I'd wake up and I'd throw up. Every single morning. And it was actually 4 weeks. It was a month. It was like the Christmas period. You know that, like 3-4 weeks, that period. It was the Christmas period, I remember. The beginning of the Christmas holidays, all the way right up until the end. And then, so imagine for 3 weeks you're not eating, but yet you're throwing up. By that point, I know this is going to be really TMI, but by that point it was basically phlegm. Because there's nothing in your stomach. There's nothing in my body. But I remember that point where I'd lost so much weight that even when, for example, I'd sit in like the bathtub, my bones on my bum I could feel my bones on the bathtub. It was painful. And then I felt weak. I felt like my bones were just like, if someone like did like even like that, I felt like I could feel it in my body. That's how bad it was. And then there was one day when it was leading up to like, I think the end of Christmas or whatever, my auntie must have come to the house and she saw me and she was like, Nissy, what's wrong with you? And I was like, oh, what? I didn't notice it by this point, by the way.
Did she say in your native?
In Lingala,
Sorry, can you say it? Lingala. It sounds so sweet.
Oh gosh, what did she even say? She just said, Nissy, Ninyango. Ninyango basically means like what's going on? Like what's up? Type thing. And I was like, what? And she's like, Obeli. Obeli basically means like, have you been sick? So she actually thought I was ill. But bearing in mind, Christabel, I had no clue. I was just going about, noticed that some of my clothes were a bit baggy. I was like, okay, going about. And then it wasn't until I went to school. And when I went back, I realized I put my uniform on, my skirt was too big, so I just rolled it up. Again, not thinking anything. My jumper's too big, so I just took a hairband. You know, back in the day when we used to say hairband and tie it up in a knot. Didn't think anything of it at all. So imagine, and that's how you know it's a mental thing, because imagine all that time, all my clothes are baggy, I'm not even noticing I've lost weight. Then I went to school and one of my friends, she's still one of my closest friends ever, I spoke to her yesterday, Christina. She came to me and was like, Nissy, what the hell? I was like, what? She's like, Nissy, you look like a totally different person. Like, you've lost, like, where's the I remember her literally saying, where's the rest of you? I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, Nissy, you've lost so much weight. And then all of a sudden, I went, oh yeah, that's why my clothes are baggy.
So that's when you realised at that point.
That's when I realised. And I was like, that's why my auntie was saying it, and that's why this, and that's why that. And then all of a sudden I realised, I've lost weight. So yeah, that was the kind of like process. It was really weird. Till this day, I don't really know what happened. But it just one day I just woke up and I just couldn't eat. Yeah.
And how have you maintained your weight journey now?
Oh Lord, let me take another sip of this.
Oh, she's taking another sip.
Oh Lord.
Let me join you.
Oh, Christabel. Honestly, my weight has been a struggle. My weight has been such a struggle, and I've been a bit up, down. My weight has fluctuated over the past few years. I would say more recently has been my biggest struggle though. Because I lost the weight when I was about 14. Now I'm a slim babe. Now all of a sudden people are starting to notice me. Now all of a sudden I'm walking through Stratford and the man them are looking at me like, who's that? I've always been here, but you didn't want to pay attention to me before. Okay? But all of a sudden now I'm walking through and like people are like, yo, who's that? I've never seen that girl before. I'm thinking, I've lost weight. I'm like feeling good now. And that's, I think, also a dangerous thing as well, when you then start getting all these affirmations from people and all of a sudden you're now the pretty girl and now all of a sudden like the in girls, the cool girls are starting to like take notice of you. So now you're now associating your weight loss with, you know, affirmation and people like me better when I've lost weight, and oh, look how great I feel and how great I look and I can wear anything and I feel amazing. So after that, my weight was always a struggle. So like I said, again, I would maybe go to the gym but be really addicted, go to the gym, like go ham, you know, make sure that I was being quite restrictive with what I was eating, that sort of thing. But also by that point my stomach shrunk as well. It had shrunk, so I wasn't eating as much. And then yeah, I was just kind of doing my thing for a bit. Then it was when I got married, that's when everything then went a bit backwards. Because I think I had maintained my weight for quite a while. I was like a size 10, 12, maintained my weight for quite a while and I was happy with where I was. There were periods where I'd lose a bit of weight, put on a bit, but I was content. I was all right with where I was, right, even though I still had my moments. And then when I got married, I then went on the implant. That's another story, but the implant, I would say I hated it. It nearly destroyed my life. I do not recommend it to anybody because it was hormonal, and I just never thought, because you know people always say, oh, you put on weight when you're on the implant. I thought, nah, not me, I'll control myself. I put on so much weight, and just the Christmas that just went by, I think, like, and was it January? Yeah, so last Christmas I was at my heaviest. Oh wow. And all of a sudden all these thoughts and feelings that I had once upon a time that I thought like I dealt started creeping up again. So my weight has fluctuated up and down, but I'll definitely say that more recently has been my most insecure, my most difficult, my most challenging. Just it's been my weight is the one thing that I can say has challenged me my whole life. I
just want to say you look amazing. You look good.
I appreciate you. Don't get twisted, I'm wearing Spanx and stuff underneath.
You look sweet. Let's just end it there.
I appreciate that.
All right, cool. So I want to talk about your uni time. So you studied at a whole Cambridge University, guys. Like, that's amazing. And you was also an ACS president.
Yes, I was.
Firstly, you studying at Cambridge, how did that make you feel? Because Cambridge for me, I feel is a predominantly white.
It is, yeah, it is.
So yeah, how did that make you feel, plus your family?
Yeah, obviously a massive achievement. I always say it with chest. I'm always like, I went to one of the best universities in the entire world. I'm a big believer in own your stuff. If you work for it, own your stuff. My parents, of course, African parents, they have been proud. They even talk about it till now. We were with my parents yesterday, actually, went out for dinner with them, and my dad was just basically just like saying how anytime people come to him and stuff, and again, I'm not saying this to sound arrogant or anything like that. Oh, trust me, I'm a very humble person. But he was the one that was basically saying, anytime till now, people come up to him and be like, wow, Nissy, like, she's amazing, she's this, she's that. Cambridge was a massive achievement. Forget even my parents. For me, it was a massive achievement because it was hard.
I can imagine.
it was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very proud, very, very proud of going there, and not just going, but finishing.
Yeah.
I think that as well. I think a lot of people don't give themselves credit for finishing things.
Yeah.
I feel like it's we're very quick to get excited about getting through the door, but then we don't actually think about the maintenance that comes after, of, you know, getting that new job or moving up in your career or whatever it is. I think for me, the proudest thing was that I went, I conquered, and I finished.
Yeah.
I would say that.
I love how you put that. I want to discuss your YouTube journey as well. So you started YouTube 7 years ago.
7 years ago now, yeah.
In 2015.
Yes.
And that was partly inspired by your best friend that sadly passed away.
Yeah.
I can imagine that must have been a very, very difficult time.
Yeah.
How was you know, documenting your Cambridge series and having time for yourself? And because I didn't see, because I've been watching you, I didn't see, apart from that one video, you didn't show emotion, like you didn't have time to grieve. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's me just watching you. I don't know, behind the camera. Like, how was that for you?
It was hard. It was hard. So obviously, for those that don't know, like, the context, so me and my best friend, we were friends since year 7. So we literally met in secondary school, and we were friends throughout the years, and we even went to the same sixth form. We were actually going to end up going to the same uni as well. Wow. So she studied briefly at Loughborough University. Adele, she studied briefly at Loughborough University, and we both got in, we were both excited, but then Cambridge came up as an option. There was this one teacher, Miss McCarthy, I always say that she changed my life, because she came and was like, do you know what, Nissy, with the grades that you have, you're smart, you've got a great personality, you've got all the potential, you can go to Cambridge. And bearing in mind, there weren't a lot of black people. No. Now it's amazing, like with the Stormzy Fund that he has now, and all the campaigns that have been going on. But then no one was even really talking about it. I never even thought about Cambridge. Yeah. Not because I didn't think I could get in, but just because who's talking about Cambridge, like where we're from, you know? So when I then, obviously, it came up as an option, I said, let me go for it, ended up getting in. So that's the only reason that we kind of went our separate ways. But we were close. Like, we were, as people say, like batty and bench. Like, we were... Oh, excuse me, I'm burping from the little drink, sorry. This is me all the time, bloody burping all the time. But we were really, really close, like really, really, really close. That was my sister, not even my friend. That was my sister. Like, if you wanted to know where I was, just ask her. If you want to know where she is, come to me. She would be my excuse sometimes if I wanted to go out and do some other stuff. I'm going to link boys. She would be my excuse, like, oh, I'm going to see Adele. Yeah, we're going out together. Okay, cool. Like, she was literally my sister. And then we went to uni. She got suddenly ill. It was a very brief illness, and then basically she passed away. Really, really suddenly. That, I would genuinely say to you, was probably the most difficult thing I've ever had to go through in my entire life. Because imagine someone that you're with every day, you talk to every day. Even when we went to uni, we spoke to each other pretty much every day. You know, and we'd only been at uni for what? She'd only been at uni for like maybe 3 weeks, and I'd only been there for a week. So we were excited about life and about all the prospects and all the amazing things that we want to do. And she was also Ghanaian as well. So she was my Ghana babe. She was just amazing, an amazing dancer. There was just so much life in her. But you know, God does things in mysterious ways, and I don't ever question God when it's his time to say, do you know what, it's time for me to take my own back. It was that time. But it was hard. It was the most horrific thing. I think that's the first time in my life where I don't like to use this word lightly. I don't like to say like suicidal lightly, but it was the first time where I was like, well, God, if you're going to take her, just take me then, because I couldn't comprehend death because it was so close. This wasn't some girl that you read about on Instagram or you saw on the Shade Borough. I don't even know if the Shade Borough existed then, but you saw on like some random thing. This was my sister, and I felt like I lost a limb. And I remember there were days like I just cried. One of my closest friends now, Mandy, I basically couldn't stay in my own room. I basically spent the first year of uni in her room. Basically, we would sleep in the same bed, single bed together, because I just emotionally, I just was distressed constantly. And then YouTube came about in 2015, the 1st of January, because she'd also always said to me, Adele always said to me, like, you talk so much, as you can tell, as you can probably tell, guys. Sorry. But she was like, you talk so much, you should start YouTube or something. And she would say it in like passing. I remember it was one day we were going to Westfield and she said it to me in passing as we were going over the bridge. And I was just kind of like, whatever. Yeah. And then when she passed away, I was like, life is so short.
It's your time to do it.
It's my time. And so obviously I commemorated it and dedicated it to her. But yes, people didn't necessarily see it on camera, but behind the scenes, I was going through a lot, just trying to figure out, like, how can God, and I was angry with God. Anyone that knows me knows that my faith is really important to me. I talk about my faith anywhere and everywhere. I was angry with God. I was fuming because I was like, how can you take away someone so young? There's people in this world that are evil, that do horrible things, and then you take away one person she was so kind, so loving, so innocent, so many great things to come. She was even that friend, like, for example, would go out like on a night out or whatever, she'd be like, no, I'm not drinking, I'm gonna have Copenberg, and we're like, yeah, Courvoisier, yeah, let's do some Courvoisier. My drink was always cranberry and Courvoisier. She would just be like, nah, I'm not really on it. She was so like level-headed, so wise beyond her years. And I was just like, God, like, why would you do that? You know, so I spent a lot of time being angry, being upset. But the YouTube thing, I think, kept me sane, you know. It was a bit of therapy for me.
It's your outlet.
It was an outlet. It really, really was. So, yeah, I didn't really show much of it. I spoke about it quite a bit, though, on my channel. Like, when I had moments where I was like, oh, I really want to share how I feel right now and help maybe other people who are grieving as well. But you know, grieving is just a process, right?
It is a process. I just want to fast forward a little bit to when you met your husband, which was 8 years ago, was it?
No. Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know.
You met 8 years ago at an ACS event?
Was that the first time we met? He's right there, so he might look at me and be like, you don't even remember. I can't remember when we first met. Okay. I don't know if the thing is, the ACS event we know because we have a picture from that day that we had seen each other, but I don't know if that was the first time we had met. Okay. I don't think it was. I think we'd known each other previously because we were very comfortable to take a picture with him. Why would I take a picture of a random guy if I didn't know him? I don't know. Maybe you might have to ask him later. Okay, cool. See. But yeah, at the ACS event, I have a feeling that we'd already known each other, and then we took a picture on that day. Yeah, I'll send it to you, so maybe you can add it as an insert or something.
Cool. So you met your husband 8 years ago.
Yes.
That brief, like, first meeting, how was it? Did you feel like that's going to be my husband?
Let me tell you where we met. How can I forget? Jeez, he's going to cuss me later. Where we actually met was, I was ACS president for Cambridge. He was ACS president for Portsmouth University. Yeah. This is how you do your research. She was even like, yeah, Portsmouth. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. You are amazing. No, it's good. You do your research. But yeah, so we were both ACS presidents. And then we had, they basically, this organisation, I've forgotten their name.
Elevation Network.
It was Elevation.
Sorry.
Well, damn.
I'm so sorry.
Well, damn. She does her research. You're a journalist. You are not playing. I love it. It's great. Yeah. No, it's good because I couldn't remember. She's sitting it.
Listen, you're sick.
A real journalist, huh? Okay, sorry. But no, Elevation Network, 100%. So Elevation Network put together this ACS event. You are so insane. Sorry, I'm still deep in that. You actually knew. Wow, you are a journalist. BBC, hire her. ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, whatever. Sky, hire her.
Thank you.
But yeah, Elevation Network, they put on this big ACS event for all the ACS presidents across the country to come together for us to share ideas, have conversations, etc. So I remember at that point, you know, I hadn't really noticed him before, but there was like this kind of panel discussion bit where basically we were all kind of sat in rows, and then we were facing the front, and it was like they gave space for us to ask questions or to talk, whatever. Then Ben must have been at the front, and myself and my friend that I was talking about, Mandy, we were sat towards the back. We were kind of like, I think we were even talking to each other or whatever at the back. And then all of a sudden, this guy stands up. And first of all, what I noticed about him was that he was tall. So yeah, long story short, basically, he stood up. He's wearing this suit. He's wearing it well. You know, he's wearing the suit, not the suit is wearing him. He's wearing it well. All of that, I was like, this guy. And he was talking. He was very eloquent, very well spoken. And I just never, honestly speaking, I'm so sorry. I love my Congolese brother, and I know that there's a lot of them now. But back then, I'm not gonna lie to you, Congolese men, I just was. We've come a long way, that's all I can say. We've come a long way. But he was the first one that I'd seen that was so eloquent, well-spoken, dressed well, confident. And I was like, I need to go and speak to this guy. So then later on, what I did was, when it came to the networking part, we were all mingling. I kind of like, you know, went up to him and I was like, oh, you know, I loved what you said. You're amazing. I'm also from Congo. Then he drops the bar. Oh, yeah, well, my girlfriend is also Congolese.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh. But I respected it because I was like, I like that. You're clearly someone with wisdom because you're establishing boundaries already. And the funny thing, I don't even know what I was doing because I was really dating someone at the time. So I don't even know why I was even, you know. That's why he always says that I moved to him. But I wasn't moving to him. I was just introducing myself, positioning myself. That's what I was doing. But after that, obviously when he mentioned he had a girlfriend, I knew straight away. And I'm not a homewrecker. I said, no problem. Already the wall is there. And then we just stayed friends after that. So yeah, we just ended up just being friends for years.
And then you lot started dating.
And later on, though, like later years on, later.
Years later.
Years later.
Nissy,
no, I don't do that. I don't. Before the ex is looking at me like, is it? No, I'm not about that life. So years later, you guys started dating. And I just want to fast forward a little bit. So in 2019, you done a photo shoot / fake wedding. Oh God. And you're bringing that up again for the people start coming for me.
I'm so sorry, but we have to bring that up. So you woke up and to like people congratulating you, like how did that make you feel?
Oh God, I was nervous, man. We were both nervous because we were like, when people find out that this is a prank,
I know
we're gonna get slaughtered.
Wasn't it on the Shea Borough?
It was everywhere.
Oh gosh.
My friends were even saying you broke the internet. Like
you did.
We were everywhere. And I think because back then as well I was on Backchat as well. So obviously like my profile was quite out there, you know, people knew me from that. So everyone was like, oh my gosh. And because I'd spoken about Ben so much on Backchat and I'd spoken about him so highly, I think they were like, oh my gosh, it's actually happened. Like she's actually married this guy. People were so happy for us and I felt bad. But it was also quite funny as well.
It was a joke. It was just a joke, guys. It was just a joke.
Just a joke.
Okay, so like months later down the line, Ben shut down Heathrow Airport and proposed to you.
Not shut down Heathrow Airport.
Well, I would like to say he shut it down because the video that I watched, it was amazing.
It was beautiful.
So yeah, you guys got engaged and you had your real wedding.
Actual
this
wedding.
Time. So yeah, basically I want to move on to your businesses now. So you're a presenter. You've worked for West Side Radio Station. You've worked for, was it a media group called Blu-ray?
I did. Blu-ray. Oh my God, yes. Blu-ray Media Group as well.
When did you discover your love for presenting?
Do you know what? I would always say that I always knew that I loved being in front of the camera. So my mum always said to me, again, you talk a lot. Even when I was in school, you know when you get reports at school where they'll be like, Nissy is brilliant, she's bright, she's great, she's this, she's that, but she talks too much. That was my, and I'm sure you probably got it as well.
Listen, all the time.
It's always presenters that always, I find that is a mutual thing, but all the time. So I always used to get that. So my mum always knew that, do you know what, actually, Nissy's bright at this, but she always said, oh, she's going to become a lawyer. That's what she used to say to me. She's going to be a lawyer. Then later on down the line, when obviously all this stuff happened with Adele and her passing really, really suddenly, all of a sudden I started YouTube. Then it kind of like just snowballed into now I'm being asked to come and do speaking engagements and people like the way that I spoke and they liked the stuff that I was speaking about because a lot of it was encouragement, empowerment.
You even went to schools and spoke.
And that's when I started getting invited to come to schools. And I think it just kind of spiraled and I remember also one day I basically did a beauty pageant. That's a long story, but I did a beauty pageant, I lost. And then after that beauty pageant, because I'm very competitive, by the way, very competitive. So when I lost, I was like, what can I do that I'm going to win at, that I'm going to be the greatest at, that I'm going to be the best at? And that's when I started researching people like Oprah and stuff like that. And I was like, I think I can do this, you know? I think I can do this. And so it kind of sat at the back of my mind. And then when the whole Adele stuff happened, it was like God just made everything align all of a sudden. And then that's when I was working with Blu-ray Media Group. I was doing presenting stuff. I was hosting events, and it all just, again, snowballed from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You have your own business, NT Media. Shout out NT Media.
Yes.
Another
Check this out,
business.
guys.
You're the founder of BEBB.
Was the founder of that, though.
The founder, but
I
like
dissolved that.
I like to add it to your CV because that's one of your businesses that you had. You also do your power classes.
Yes, that's my baby.
How do you find time to just be Nissy Tee or have time for yourself?
Oh, have time for myself.
Yeah.
In terms of having time for everything, honestly, I just think I do get... My husband will even laugh at this. There's days where I get overwhelmed. There's days when it's a lot. There's days when I'm like, God, like, why am I doing all of this? Like, what is actually the meaning of this? But the one thing I will say is that I love everything that I do. And I truly do believe that this is my purpose. Like, you know, when people say, I'm looking for I feel like I found my purpose. And when you're walking in purpose, you just find a way to do it.
Yeah.
You find a way, no excuses, you just make it happen somehow. In regards to myself, I think that's something I've had to learn. Because again, even my husband will probably say this, I'm a workaholic. I will admit, hands up, I'm a workaholic, I grind. Because my dreams and my ambitions are so big, I'm always thinking about work. And I think my husband has come into my life, he came at the perfect time. I think we got married at the perfect time, and he just gave me a bit of balance. Like, I don't really believe in there being such thing as like a balance in life, because there's always going to be something that's strained, but he gave me a balance in the sense that he came and he reminded me that life is more than just work. Like, life is about family. It's about taking, because if it was really up to me, I'm not going to lie to you, I'd always be, I'll work 24/7. I'll be like, I'm so sorry, family, but right now I'm grinding, and the things I'll say, I'm doing it for us, I'm doing it because I'm building. I'll grind all the time. And I think he's just the perfect person that just came into my life and was like, Nissy, breathe. That's his big thing. Nissy, breathe. And he just got me to a place where I really value just like, no, we're gonna take out time, we're gonna go on a holiday, we're gonna take out time, we're gonna enjoy time with our family, we're gonna take out time. That friend that you're thinking of, call them now and just spend 20 minutes on the phone, because before I'll be like, I don't have time. I'll text you later, I'll talk to you later, and I never will, because I'll forget. But he really, really taught me that, like, just the importance of just being present, because it's so easy to run with life, and then one day you're gonna wake up and then where are your friends and family? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I kind of have managed to kind of do it. But yeah, I'm still a workaholic though. So, you know, I try.
Lastly, I want to ask you, for example, anyone that's starting out a business or wants to start a business, what advice would you give them? Oh, that's such a hard one, because there's so many things I've learned along the way. Which, by the way, guys, check out NT Media. We're great. We're amazing. Okay, social media management and branding agency. We're here to help you with all your social media needs. What would I say to start a business? Number one, I know this sounds so cliche, but just start. Just start. The whole entrepreneurial thing is so funny, and I wish we had more time to like go into it properly. But it kind of came off of the back of, again, always knew that I wanted to go into being in front of the camera and presenting and stuff, but everywhere I went I got a no. We've had conversations about this, so you already know what that's like. But just no. I applied for everything, BBC, Channel 4, like even smaller stations and different things. Everywhere I went I was getting a no. And so I was kind of like, well, I know I'm talented in this area, but I also know that I have other aspirations of like ownership, owning my own whatever. And so that's where the whole business aspect kind of came from as well. Anyway, to answer the question, I would say just start. With business and stuff, there's no right way of doing it. A lot of people wait for, I'm going to do the MBA, I'm going to wait until I'm prepared, I'm going to wait until I have £10,000 in the bank, I'm going to wait. Don't do any of that. Just do it. If you have a vision for something, feed that vision, and you'll find that the more you go along, the easier it becomes, and the more you just work things out. The second thing that I would say as well is build a team. I think for me, what changed the game for me was having people like Shanna, who is basically like, she's like my left arm, my right arm, my leg. She's like my business partner. She does PA stuff for me. She's my admin. She is literally someone who I said to her, and the funny thing is people always assume that you need to pay them. I remember when I couldn't pay Shanna a penny.
Now I can, thank God. We're in a place where we're making money. I'm able to pay her. But I remember a time I couldn't pay her. But all I said to her was, Shanna, this is the vision. This is where we're going. I was able to show her the vision and say, I can't pay you right now, but I promise you, you walk on this journey with me, I promise you, you're going to make money. And she walked on the journey with me. And I had other people like Dorcas, who I don't think you've met before, but there's a few other people who I've built a team around me who are there and who are supporting and who care about the vision enough to give their time and their effort and their energy. So I think those are probably the top things that I would say. Just start. Get yourself a team. Even if you don't have money to pay anyone, gather up people around you and just say, just walk with me, believe in this with me. And you need to give them something worth believing, absolutely, but just walk with them and have that support, because I can't do it. What? You think I'll be able to do power class, NT media,
too much,
being a wife, having a home, doing all of it? It'll be too much. I'll lose my head. I'll go crazy. So build a team, start. Those are definitely my two top tips.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Nissy, tell the people where they can find you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You can check me out on all my platforms, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, even Facebook if you still use Facebook, Snapchat, LinkedIn. Everything is Nissy Tee. So that's NISSYTEE. You can also check us out, NT Media, as well. So as I mentioned, we're a social media management and branding agency who help you to leverage the power of social media so you can smash your business goals. So it's all about helping you grow and expand and do all the things that you want to do through social media. So that's NTMED.IA on Instagram. And you can also check out the Power Class as well. So the Power Class is basically a platform that is just my baby. It's a women's personal development platform, all about just making sure women reclaim their power. It's about reminding women of the power we possess.
And we need that.
We do. We're amazing. And I feel like sometimes we just don't act like it, you know? So we have that. We have the page, if you go on our Instagram page, the Power Class, it has encouraging posts every day. And then we also have a 12-week program that we do as well, which we're actually starting the next batch of ladies this month, actually. So yeah, so in a few weeks, please do check us out, the Power Class on Instagram and on Twitter as well. So yeah,
thank you guys, you've heard it.
Thank you
so much, Nissy, for coming. Honestly, it's been
so much
long overdue.
Well, very long overdue. I'm ready to come back already. So when you're ready to have me again, part two, there's loads more stuff in the story. Definitely. I'll be more than happy. Thank you.
So guys, we've come to another end of another episode. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you comment, because listen, Cocktails with Christabel, it's the one and only show, okay? It's your girl, Christabel, the one and only sweet Blackberry. Bye.